Hey tubes, how's it going? Well, I got my freshly rebuilt carburetor back, and this thing sure is pretty. It's the Model NH, and it's got all the new shiny parts on it and everything for the Model T, and it's interesting. One of the things, well, here, let me set you on the tripod and show you what I got going on here. One of the things on the old carburetor that I always had a problem with was the main jet loosening up. I'd set it, and as I went down the road, it would vibrate and that. Come to realize that this part of the jet is actually a clamp to give it some resistance when you go to adjust it. So I can take out the little spring that I put in to give some resistance, and everything's going to go back to working the way it should from the factory. But yeah, it's looks good. There's the choke. It's a little stiff. Got a pretty heavy duty spring on it there, and the throttle comes through here, and there again, that's pretty stiff, which means that there's no leakage around the shafts. Everything looks good in there. So yeah, I just have to get a little Teflon tape and screw my fuel line fitting back in and put it back on. Okay, first order of business is to take this funky spring out that I had, giving the choke knob some resistance. Side. Let's see, where is, okay, there it is. There. Okay. Now, choke moves freely. Next, Teflon, let's see, fuel pipe needs to come into the side. So let's get some Teflon tape on that. And got a little bit right here. Take and go around. Maybe I ought to start with a little bit cleaner. And go there. Bring it around. That. Let's see. It's got to go another at least 90. Like that. Okay. tight. Then what I think I'm going to do, in the interests of keeping it looking somewhat original, I'll just come in and strip off that all the Teflon tape that's sticking out there. And get that taken off. Should be able to just tear that, pull it right off just like that. Yeah. There we go. Little bit left right there. Okay. Now, let's see. I'll pull it out 3 turns, I think. 1, 2. Let's see. Half, 1, half, 2, half, 3. Okay, we have a gasket here. How's this look? Old. Got a new one. Good. We can pop that on. And this gets slid up into here. Ooh. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. It's a nice square. I think we got a little paint. In the corners. Okay, let's try that. I think I got some of the okay, that looks good. Bring this down. Drop that on. And we have nut number 1 there. Should put the oil in it. Did an oil change and have not put the oil in yet. Gotta make sure I do that. Nut number 2. the throttle. And this goes on that side. No? Interesting. It's 9/16 too. I'll grab a 9/16. And sixteenths to 9/16. Okay, the other side, let's see, how did that go in there? I think you held it right. Did that go in there? The other way. Well, maybe not. I do know this goes in right there. Okay, that's tight. That's tight. That goes on. I need a new cotter key to put in there. I think this is the one. I'll need a side cutter. Okay, let's turn it like this. Okay. Choke rod goes down here. Oops. Might want to get that one in. Right there. Splash shields. Oh, no, I think that one goes in. quite a bit larger loop there. And this just comes up and goes on here like that, except that has to get rotated down like that. There, and then that gets squeezed shut to keep it from popping off. There. And there's my choke. And the fuel line. Oh, interesting. I'll have to possibly rebend the fuel line a little bit for the new position on the fitting there. That goes in there. We'll just get this started here. Come on. Come on now. Play nice. Play nice. Why are you hanging up? There we go. Then this actually needs to be slightly tweaked here. We'll have to bring it up a little bit and in a little bit. Okay. See how that goes on. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Where'd my 5/8 wrench go? Okay, we'll have to check it for leaks, of course. Get that snug. And last but not least, we have our heat shield, which comes down behind this, and onto this, just into the carburetor and onto the stud right there, like that. And it's not a heat shield, it's a warm air intake. Keeps the carburetor from icing up in cold weather. Not that this is ever going to get driven in any sort of cold weather, but it's factory on the car, so Okay. That's basically all there is to it. See how much gas I got left in here. I need my gas gauge. Leaks like a sieve. Interesting. Okay, we have a good gallon in there. Well, can't say that I'm too happy about that. It's a metal gallon. Yeah, it's copper, brass. Got to remember to put that in. Well, we'll have to check into this a little further. Okay, gang. Got the new carburetor in, and it's working the way it's supposed to. I had a couple issues. First of all, my fuel line, my old one that was on here, actually had a split along the seam. And I couldn't figure out where the gas was all coming from because both ends were tight. And it turns out it was just coming right out of the middle of the pipe here. Kind of see the seam right along there, and then I think it was right in this area at the bend right here. There was a split on it. So I found a piece of copper line and a couple ferrules and popped that on there, and so that's not dripping anymore. Another issue I had was my swivel here actually had some clearance issues and wasn't able to rotate in a full 360, so I couldn't get my carburetor in adjustment. But yeah, she's back up and looking good, running good. Let me just I think she just pops right off here. Sounds like I might have a valve out of adjustment or something there. But yeah, we're good to go. So that part of the job is done. And I shut it off, and I don't have to shut my fuel valve off. There's no gas dripping. Looks really good. However, since it's going to be sitting here for a while, I will shut that off. Get that petcock. I think I only have about a gallon of gas left. So we are done with that part of the job.